Hello, Taurus, and welcome to your March 2024 forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. This reading can be used for Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus, and it's going to give you everything you need for this month ahead. I always begin my readings with channeled messages, and there were quite a few messages that came through in dreams today. Everything started off with a very sort of artistic vibe. First, I was shown someone that worked with metal, and they were taking an object, melting it down, shaping it into something new. Then I flashed to a different sort of artisan, someone that worked with glass. And I've always thought that that's beautiful, by the way. Anyone that blows glass and moves really quickly, because if you go too slow, it kind of loses its shape. If you go too fast, something might break. So it's really interesting to watch sort of that perfect combination of timing and skill. And that really feeds into what this month is bringing forth for you. You have a chance to break down a mold, break down some sort of a cycle, and try something new, but it is going to require speed and precision. There may be a moment, not an epiphany so much, but a synchronicity that comes through where if you're truly ready, prepared, and get out of your own way, this could be something really big. It could open you up to a brand new horizon. But if you hesitate, it's just like I was talking about with the metal or the glass. You wait too long and it gets fragile or it breaks and you have to start again. So let's be ready this month, Taurus. When an opportunity comes knocking, open that door and say yes and act with speed and precision. Let's move on to the next message because I think it's going to help you get ready for that. And that has to do with healing. In dreams, I was also shown the hands basically placed over the heart. Of course, that represents healing and tuning into the heart for that matter. And because we're going to talk about healing here, there are two cards that we need to look at. The Three of Swords is the initial understanding that something didn't go as planned. It can represent sadness, loss, disappointment, or simply being upset. But if you give things time, they have a way of healing. And right here with the Four of Swords is the answer here. It's basically taking time to rest, reflect, and recalibrate. I put that as the third bullet here. Movement happens here within the heart and within the head, and then it sort of finds its way to the exterior. So I'd love for you to slow down long enough this month to figure out how you feel, what it is that you want, and when you get that sense of self and really start to heal, when an opportunity comes knocking, like we saw in the previous slide, you're going to be ready for it. You're not going to have to sort of like hesitate in the heart space. Then we can get into the judgment energy, which is resurrection, renewal. And by the way, I also view judgment as a second chance. So let's say something did disappoint you. Once you're able to let it go, then you get a chance to look at it with a fresh set of eyes and really do something amazing with it. Finally, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but in the Three of Swords, it kind of pulls its way down into the Four of Swords here where you see the three above and you get that ace beneath it. So when you give yourself time to rest, really rest and let go, then you'll get that extra ace and you're going to feel energized, clear, and capable of embracing the synchronicity when it comes through. Finally, I was shown many people, just sort of like a swarming or grouping energy. In fact, I forgot to put it in here, but it just came to me right now, so we're going to talk about it in real time. I saw a bee in particular, I'm just remembering this, so we're kind of going with the flow on this one. It's important to talk about it. So I saw clover, like a little plant that you would get on St. Patrick's Day. Makes sense for this month. And I saw bees all around it. And I was sleeping and the bees woke me up in the dream. So I believe that there's going to be a change of luck with respect to your money, to your networking, to your resources, because I also was inspired to put this 10 of Pentacles here. So good news will come from another person around you. This is why I want you to get out and network. So I said, now is the time to exit from the hermit energies, embrace new relationships. They could be work alliances, friendships, and yes, love. But it may simply be that sort of swarming energy that I was picking up on where people are drawn to you almost as if you are a flower. And this is your chance to really shine and radiate and blossom. All right, with that being said, let's look at the cards, folks. Let's see what's coming through for this month ahead. Great to see everybody, by the way. beautiful moth spirit that just came out from nowhere. All right. Let's begin with, we have a hidden catalyst here, a dual catalyst coming through. So the catalyst, as you know, is a way to create necessary action in your life or spark some change. And we have two cards that in and of themselves are all about change. So sublimation is when something changes form. Basically, it's alchemic, and it happens when there's enough heat to change a solid substance into a gas. And that's really interesting here. So we see flight or movement as a part of this, but just like I was talking about taking, for instance, sand and making it into glass, there is a transformative energy that was present even in dream state. And likewise, this card represents death and rebirth. This would be closer to the death card. So basically, if we pull all of these together, the main message this month is that this is a time for movement. This is a time to embrace necessary changes. And yes, both of these cards did come through reverse, but change is inevitable. So this is an opportunity for you to get ahead of all of that so that you are the agent of change, rather than basically, this will get you way ahead of any potential tower energy, right? Because you are creating it, embracing it, and just like the artisans, molding or shaping it into something that is going to be beneficial for you. As we take a look at the entire spread, I like what I see, particularly as we look at the near future and the outcome. We see you moving in a positive direction with energy and opportunity. We have the card that can basically bring you whatever it is that you want, the manifesting card here, the magician in the crowning position. So whatever challenges are coming through, you're going to be able to manage them. Let's start at the beginning here with the King of Wands, who is reversed at the center of the spread. So there are both positive and challenging elements with the reverse King of Wands. Here's the best thing. So if you want someone who can win a fight, it's the King of Wands in reverse. He's willing to stand firm and tall and strong and isn't really going to let somebody try to push him out of the way. So I like that sort of defensive energy when and if it's necessary. The only area of opportunity here is sometimes a King of Wands reverse can be so sort of like with the blinders on, or, in the thick of things and not paying attention to opportunities around him, that he might miss something. So this month, try to push yourself just a little bit out of your comfort zone. Remember all the symbols for reshaping and renewal that came through. This is a time where you can also apply some of that and be more flexible, be more pliable in certain areas of your life, particularly with your thinking. So before immediately discounting something, why not, just like if you're at a buffet or at a friend's house and they're cooking, try it before you make a decision and taste it and really sit with it for a second, okay? Be open to constructive criticism, allow yourself to be put into situations that put you out of your comfort zone, and look and listen to different points of view, because you may find yourself liking or engaging with someone or something that you normally wouldn't, and it's going to be a really nice fit, okay? So when you need to stand up for yourself and be stubborn, it's there, but make sure that you're also allowing yourself to weigh the options. And as we look here at the Two of Pentacles, that's exactly what he's doing. How do I feel about this? How does it sit with me? That's one thing that the Two of Pentacles can represent. I like that he's on almost like a checkers board here, or a chessboard, because it is about strategy. So as you look at new opportunities coming forth this month, really think to yourself, does this take me closer or further away from what I'm trying to do? You cannot do everything that's put in front of you this month. Discernment is necessary. Say no, it's okay. People respect a really well thought out and well delivered no, because it means that you're freeing them up, you're freeing yourself up to focus on what matters most. And both of you can find avenues that are going to be more engaging. You may also have two things that are very difficult to decide between. You're going to have to lean into your heart space. That's what I saw in dreams. It's not just about healing. It's also saying, in this moment, I really want to do what feels right for me. And it's okay for you to do that. Finally, just achieving proper balance in your life. This can be in any part of your life. It's not just your money. It can be work and social life. It can be anything where you just feel like I want a little bit more time and energy there. So you're going to have to move it around. Take a little from here, put it here. Say no to this, say yes to that. You can't have it all, but what you choose to focus on, you can do very successfully, because this is the penultimate boss card, second only to the Emperor / Empress. It's just a really, really good leadership card. So make good choices and lean into that. Don't second guess yourself either. That's the other thing I would say with the King of Wands reverse. Trust in your power, potential, and wisdom. All right, you've been doing a lot of good work, folks, in the deep past here. We have 8 of Pentacles, which can represent school, learning, simply expanding your horizons in any capacity. And this is one of the guaranteed cards where if you put your heart into it, you're going to get something back. So I see you getting an energetic return for the hard work, for the diligence, and this is a chance also to show people what you know. So if you have a hidden skill or gift or passion or talent, and it's been underneath the surface, raise your hand, put yourself in a position where you can explore and kind of like flex that. And not only is this going to help you feel good about, you know, developing that skill, but other people are going to think of you in a different light. They're going to say, wow, this person really has something to offer. Okay. So if you've been thinking of going back to school, or if you're wondering if the work was worth it, whatever you've been putting your time and energy into, you get a yes on both counts. So yes, if you want to go to back to school, or yes, if you've been working and researching and trying to make something happen, this card is showing me that everything is kind of cosmically aligned to put you in the right position. All right, let's now take a look at recent past. Here's the first challenge that's coming through for this month. We have 5 of Pentacles energy. What happens with the 5 of Pentacles is we are sometimes tested in self-confidence, tested also if we are being asked to do something where we're not getting compensated properly, we're not getting respected or encouraged properly. And this is a time to stand up and not necessarily be a people pleaser. You can say, I want to help you, but this is inadequate. I need more time. I need more support. You can also say, that's not okay when you talk to me or treat me that way. This is a partnership. We're in it together. And basically just stand your ground. And this is going to help you heal some, for some of you, it's not just past energy. It could be ancestral or familial, where you were told that it was okay to put up with that. But this month you're starting to see that it's not, that you have to push back on people, places, and engagements where they're trying to sort of like wring as much as they can from you without resupplying or recharging that battery. In any sort of negotiations, it may take a couple of attempts to get there. So don't be afraid. I see the second card being much more favorable, a 7 of Pentacles reversed. Maybe 3 times, because the third one is the best, the ace. But definitely don't be afraid to ask for more pushback or get some more information. This can simply represent sickness. Some of you may be working yourself too hard. Luckily, this is when we're looking at just general body, it can just be a cold or flu. The other areas of sensitivity you can see right here, it's the feet. And we see the crutches. So anything from the knee downward, but oftentimes it really is ankle and foot, metatarsal. It could be the Achilles. It could also be knees, because that can get you the crutches as well. So any kind of healing you're doing in that area, just give yourself extra time. And be careful when you're walking. This card can show slippery sort of sidewalks, especially with rain and sleet and snow, which happens a lot in the Northern Hemisphere at this time of year. Okay. As we take a look at your crowning card, we have the Magician. Yes, the card did come through in the reverse state. However, it's still a really positive card. Upright, this would represent the ability for you to come forth as a jack of all trades, meaning that anything that is thrown your way, you have this sort of Midas or magic touch where it just works out. You are landing exactly where you need to. The reversal of this can indicate a couple of things. First is a lack of focus. Sometimes the Magician has too many shiny things at that altar, one of every element, and they're like, I don't know what to focus on. So if you need direction, ask. And if someone is unclear, clarify. Say, wait a second, did you mean this or did you mean this? And if they leave it up to you, say, well, I'm going to go forward on this path. If you have any questions, let me know. Communicate, err on the side of communication, and be curious and question if you need to. The other thing with this is not to second guess yourself. I mentioned with King of Wands reversed, not to second guess your leadership. This is saying don't second guess your power or potential, because you've got it, folks. You've got what it takes to thrive, and I really want you to embrace that. Finally, and most importantly, the magician takes an idea and brings it into physical form, as above, so below, taking the intuition, the inspiration, the passion, and bringing it through the body and using hands and other tools in front of him to make it happen. So, what are you doing this month to take the inspiration and bring it into the physical? I saw two different ways in dreams, like working with the glass, working with the metal, but this can also be writing it down, talking to someone, sending an email, reaching out. The important thing in the process is the belief, the hope, the faith. You believe in yourself and you believe in whatever or whoever it is that you're putting your energy behind. If you believe in it, I do. If you don't, you've got an upward battle here, and you've got to convince people more than if you simply say, what have I got to lose? I like this, I trust this, let's do it, okay? As we look at your near future, we are seeing things move in the right direction. You still have the potential for more, and it comes eventually here, but push back for anything less than, because I do see a better opportunity coming forth. Let's talk about the Seven of Pentacles. So in a reverse state, it's basically just saying patience. You can't force something to grow or develop beyond a certain point. Even with plants, if you over-fertilize, they will die. They can only handle so much Miracle Grow, right? With a child, you can give them vitamins and proper nutrition, but the body grows at a certain rate. And short of hormones, which then, just like that, it's going to have a negative effect. The body can only grow so much. Plants can only grow so much. We have to kind of give things time. And that's what this card is saying. Don't basically take something off the vine before it's ripe, okay? And you really want to look at something and think, when is it done? When is enough enough? And when do you need to raise your hand again? Lots of advocating, lots of communicating. And in this case, say, not yet, okay? Now, there is also a frugal and prudent nature to the Seven of Pentacles, which is you've learned the lessons of balance. That was the Six of Pentacles. And you've definitely learned the lesson of not having enough or feeling like you're not being appreciated. So when something isn't good enough, you're going to speak up, and you're not going to also overextend yourself. Just to reiterate, it's okay, if not even a sign of strength, to say no. And there's so many ways to say no. It can be, this can't be done today, but I can do it tomorrow. So you can basically delay it. You can delegate it and say, no, I can't do it, but you could talk to this person. Or you can simply full out say, no, this doesn't work. So try the different levels of pushing it to another person or another day, or just off your desk altogether. All right, we have you showing up in a really great way here. You're represented by the Knight of Wands, and I love that this particular knight is taking the reins, basically saying, this is what I want, this is how I want to see it done. If you can get into that decisive energy, if you can emanate that confidence, and if you're willing to sometimes lead the charge even before there's a lot of feedback or support, I feel like you're going to be able to basically maximize opportunities, get ahead of changes and movement in your life, and set the pace or set the tone. That's what this is all about. You are poised to make the necessary moves this month, but it really does rely on some of the reversal cards here. Don't underestimate your ability to lead or your wisdom, and don't underestimate your own sort of ideas and capacity. Once you can get into that trust of, again, inner workings, then everything around you starts to follow suit. Knight of Wands shows up and demonstrates, very demonstrative energy here. So if you're having a hard time articulating to someone how or why it should be something, this is a card of prototyping or pointing to a real world example. This is also a really good card for networking, getting out there, mixing, mingling, and finding like-minded individuals. Bring your passion or your idea to the masses. I love this, and I think this is a really strong card for you. However, you have the potential to go all the way to the King of Wands if you trust yourself. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. As we take a look in the environment here, we have the Five of Swords. This is someone around you that isn't ready to listen. Simply put, a lot of times what happens is someone has their own dialogue going in their head when you're trying to have a heart-to-heart conversation. They want to get in the last word. They disagree with you, but they're not allowing for you to kind of put your side of the story out there. They're just coming up with counter arguments, and it's not the right time. So there could be someone around you that just doesn't have the patience or the capacity to listen. Put your time and energy elsewhere. This can also represent a person that likes to get a rise out of people. We can see one person in the distance that's kind of crying, another one that's walking off in disgust. This person likes to stir the pot. This also would be a person to avoid in this period of time. You've got too many things that you can put your energy behind. That is not a positive return. So if someone can't or won't listen, if they won't take accountability, they do something wrong, but they can't sort of admit that, or if they just like to argue, sayonara, focus on something else. This is not where you should put your time and energy. A completely different read of this is sometimes it's the inner saboteur coming through and saying, you can't do this. You're not this enough, not that enough. Sometimes it's the echo of a voice of a relative of a leader or someone in our life who said that, and it's kind of ping-ponging through our head. So whoever it is, whether it's imaginary or in the past, or it's a person around you, we're going to mute the voice and focus instead on what you can do. The sky is the limit, right? Because we have the magician here. We're going to focus on your wisdom, your skill, your patience, and that will just fade into the background, okay? Now, as we look at Hope, Fears, and Opportunity, we have one of the best leadership cards here. It's a structure-based card. So the Hierophant sets order to chaos. And the Hierophant commands respect oftentimes when others won't. It is not just a rigid card of, sort of representing government or things like that, or in this case, like a religion. It can also be a card that shows stability, structure, and commands respect. You have all of these things floating in your energy. The ability to organize, the ability to get people behind you, and they're looking to you for the answer. If we look at the base of this card, there are two keys here. So there's more than one way to get something done. You're going to present one or two options to people. We see followers here. And so like I said before, you may have to lead initially. You're eventually going to find those followers. And you do have the potential this month to show up with more seniority than that Knight card represents, because we have the Hierophant and again the King of Wands, two of the best power and leadership cards one could find or want to find. So I feel like you're in a really good space. Now, this can also be a gatekeeper. So when we're looking at the shadowy side of this, this can be hopes, fears, or opportunities. So what you might be afraid of is getting the approval from someone. But remember, there are two keys. There might be another person. If you get a no from one person, find someone that can say yes. Find a different doorway to go through. We eventually do get a yes, but it may take a couple of attempts. It may come from a different place. The ace is in reverse. So, by the way, this can be a yes after a request. You never know until you ask. And if you are working for someone and you want a growth opportunity, they may be waiting for you to say, hey, when is this going to happen? And they'll say something like, I'm glad you finally asked. In a relationship, someone may really like you, but they want you to ask the question, hey, can we take this to the next level, whatever that might be. And if something's lacking in your life, if you feel like you're pulled between, a rock and a hard place, this card is basically saying, hey, can I count on you? Or, hey, I need some help. And then once you do that, you receive it. You have to knock on the door in order to get the answer. But you'll get an answer, okay? Keep knocking until you get an answer. And that's what this Ace of Pentacles is saying. It's still positive, even when reversed, especially since it's in the outcome. Finally, and this is just a really great kind of affirmation for those of you that want to do this, if you've been thinking about going back to school or doing something for growth, this can be saying, I'm going to take a little bit from here, and I'm going to invest in myself. You just have to make some choices, and you have to weigh out resources and timing. We'll talk more about resources in the long run here when I go into wealth, but first things first, let's get into that expanded forecast. Health, Wealth, Love, and Destiny begins with the health card because this is the bedrock, the foundation upon which everything else is built. Let's see what your health message is. So it came through reverse, but let's read it upright. It says, I am presence, a weird way to state it. I would also just say I am present. And what's coming through here is light body activation. So some of you may be receiving a bit of a kind of alchemic change. We talked about chemical and spiritual sort of changes. So some of you are saying, I'm ready for this next opportunity, but you're going to be working on physical and spiritual fitness so that you can hold the space and hold the energy to basically make this next phase of your life happen. So this is about diet, exercise, and meditation, mind, body, and spirit. You've got to take care of all three. Then we have accessing the divine within. That is the magician. As above, so below. The magician has a very sort of self-sufficient energy to it. You don't need to go to a church or open up a book to connect to the divine. All you have to do is open your heart and open your mind to that presence and realize that you are a vessel for that channeling. So this is really helping you get connected to the magician. Again, very interesting that most of your power cards, literally, we see a light activation here, they're reversed. So if I could give you one takeaway, we're not even finished, but I think this is the most powerful one so far. It is that you can do this, whatever it is you want to do. If you're starting a new relationship, starting a new job, trying to get healthier, working on your emotional happiness, whatever is in front of you, you have the tools, you have the capacity, you have the strength to make it happen, okay? Trust in yourself, be present, and be fully present to see all of the opportunities that are availing themselves to you. Now let's take a look at this in the sort of realm of your general health. We have to go back to our catalyst for a moment. So for some of you, you've been stagnating in some aspect of your life, and that could also be kind of manifesting in your health. Whenever a death card appears in a health spread, it doesn't necessarily mean death. It can sometimes be lack of movement or stagnation. So this is a call to action, especially when the death card is reversed. So wherever there's a lack of movement or wherever you feel like things are getting stale, change up the routine. And this is a transformative energy. It's also about getting up. We were talking about, because we see this flight or rising energy. So this is about making sure that you're getting up and you're walking and you're exercising a bit more. Balance issues are always called to attention with the Two of Pentacles. It can be work-life balance. It can also be inner ear balance. So whatever's going on here, really take care of yourself. For those of you traveling, this can also show nausea, like seasickness, or just kind of like being a little bit jet lagged. So take care of yourself because this is a travel card. We already talked about sensitivity with the lower extremities, knee, ankle, foot. Change your shoes if you haven't done that in a while. Sometimes we wear our tennis shoes to the point that the sole's almost breaking through. Don't do that. Or if you're looking at the back of your shoe and you notice that it's worn away, please treat yourself to a new pair of shoes. Get enough, and if it's slippery outside, make sure that you have some that have good traction. That will help you avoid what you see in this picture with the crutches. So it's better to do that. And if circulation is lacking, obviously work with your doctor on that. So balance. And again, lower extremities here, definitely coming through. This is also asking you, the Magician reverse, to look and make sure that there's nothing that is causing a conflict. So for instance, like people that take high blood pressure medication have to avoid certain foods, whether it's like, I think it might be grapefruit or something like that. Sometimes garlic has interactions. Just double check that your diet and if you're on any medications, that they're not interacting. This can also be just a general encouragement to look at the balance of your diet, especially with this being so close to the Two of Pentacles. Make sure that you're eating the right kind of foods. More leafy greens, more vegetables for sure with this. Otherwise, we're looking pretty good overall here. I think that the biggest change or the biggest challenge is just changing the routine a bit, okay? And that's that. Now let's move on to wealth. This is your resources, your life purpose, and your career. We got a volunteer card, if you remember. It popped out of the deck. So the moth spirit came through reversed. This is just another death and rebirth card, and it's saying surrender now. Some of you may have difficulty letting go of the past. You may have difficulty embracing something new. Because this is a nocturnal card, some of you might just have a hard time dealing with all of this toward the evening time. So when it's time to go to bed or first thing in the morning, you're just sort of, things are weighing heavily upon you. Take note of that and try to work on that a bit. Overall, I love moths and I love the moth energy because, again, it is metamorphosis and it's change. It doesn't happen overnight. Moths have to go into that cocoon phase first. So make sure, from the caterpillar stage, so make sure you're giving yourself time to grow, to develop, and to sit with something for a moment. We have the coyote spirit on top of this. Trust in divine detours. What a cool card to come through for career. I think we've all hit a point sometimes where it's like, I didn't think I'd be here. I thought I would be here. Nothing's an accident. Everything comes through to teach, to inform, to redirect. And really the invitation, because this card popped out of the deck, is to embrace necessary changes and to surrender to the acknowledgement that maybe something that worked before doesn't work anymore and you want to try something new. All right, let's now break this down into 3 different categories. We're going to take a look at those that are working, looking for work, or either retired or a student, just not focusing on the work world. For those that are working, we'll begin with that. And there's some interesting messages here. I want to start off with the loudest thing from Spirit, which is get it in writing. So if there's something that you want or need, we talked about the power of asking. I'm all for that. Make sure that when you have a conversation, it's not just a handshake, but you actually get it into like a performance plan, or you get some sort of contractual agreement, especially for those of you that might be freelancing or contractors, and you're trying to get a little bit extra. Make sure that it's all in writing, okay? So that's the first thing. The second is many of you are overdue for more. So again, whether it's freelance or full-time or any level of employment, this shows me a deficit or lack of. This shows me more value. This shows me the consideration of negotiating back and forth, and you definitely have room for more. If you have someone that says, and they keep promising, oh, I'll do this, or yeah, you're worth this, but they keep falling short, you could always go to a different gatekeeper, or you can go in a different direction too, because this is indicative of, the kind of energy you're engaging with, and it's not worth it. If you can't trust the person that you're working with or working for, look around. You could find something else, or go one level up or around, or this could be a chance for you to transfer to a different group. There's something about the point person that I really want to make sure that you have a breadcrumb trail. There could also be someone that ends up leaving, and that trail could simply give you what you need, because someone will say like, well, it's your word against mine. And if you have it in writing, and be like, actually, I talked to them, they put it in the plan, now you have to follow through. Okay. There's something magical about getting the contract or the writing. And maybe it is just a matter of someone new coming in. And that's why we have the 2 keys here. You have to make sure that you're taken care of and you're taking care of yourself. Speak up if you want a growth opportunity. Go to school if you would like to. This card is showing a return on that. And for some of you, you're just not being appreciated because you have a lot of different skills and not everybody knows about them. So speak up. This is really a good month for advocating and moving in the direction that you want. And if you don't like where you're at, we'll talk more about job seekers in just a moment, but you can find something. Ace of Pentacles is a really optimal card in the outcome. Some of you feel stuck. Maybe you're doing okay, but really it's just that the thrill is gone. The mortification card is just showing like stagnation. This card is really begging for a change, movement, or transformation. And that's why I was seeing for some of you maybe a transfer, or again, maybe just it's time for a level up. All right? Can you get it? Yes, but it could be a little dicey or tricky if you don't get it in writing. When we're looking at how much more in negotiations, 5 to 7 here, 5 of Pentacles to 7. So this could be 15, 20% more, something. It's a decent amount. I think it's worth asking. Don't go overboard. This is about being realistic, and this shows me that there's only so far you can push it. Somewhere between 10 and 20%. There's something that's off a bit, so you can advocate for more. And really, if you can tie it down to real world examples that'll help you. But that's a lot of pentacles. So I definitely think money and career track should be talked about right now. And you can make it happen. Boss energy, manifestation energy, and a good outcome. All right? That's everything for those that have a current job right now. And the moth is also saying you can show that you have the capacity to grow or change, and you just have to change someone's mind. The coyote reminds me of the moon as well. Sometimes people take some convincing, or they may have a hard time letting you go. That's what this could all be about. Shifting the focus to those that are seeking employment at this time. There may be options, but none that are really exciting you. The Two of Pentacles is like when you go shopping and you find the color that you want, but the fit doesn't feel right. Or, if you're trying to find something in the kitchen to eat, nothing really looks good. You're like, so this is just sort of like not finding that perfect fit. Keep looking, you will land on it. But what I see here is it may take each one of these cards could represent a different level of fit. So it might take 3 or 4 times, 3 or 4 applications, 3 or 4 weeks. Don't give up. This card is also encouraging you to look at options that are geographically not right around you. Travel and distance play a component, and you may need to weigh out, like, if you really want to keep looking in the same area, maybe there's something that if you were to move or travel, you might be able to find something new. So it's encouraging that. This is also just saying but basically overall, don't overspend. We see a nice sort of general movement towards abundance, but know when to say no to something. I also like the Magician card here in the crowning position for job seekers. It is telling me that you can really tailor your application process, and I feel like there's a lot of appealing or really desirable attributes. You just have to kind of make sure that they're not buried beneath the surface. You don't want to bury the lead. Make sure that people can see what you have to offer. And the minute you get excited about something, I feel like it's all going to start to take off. There is this sense of like not the right thing just yet. So don't force it if you have the time and the resources to wait. Otherwise, you may be taking like a temporary job to tide you over until you find that perfect one. This can represent government. Some of you may be looking for school or government or hospital jobs because these are highly structured jobs that connect with the Hierophant. So you have to, it's almost like you need to know someone on the inside here. Remember way back at the beginning, I said networking skills are important. This is the one area that's going to help you the most. And overall, I feel like there will be opportunities. It's just a matter of, do you like them? So you'll have to sort out necessity, like you need something now, versus how long you can wait to find the right match. It does feel like it's coming, but it might take a couple of attempts or a couple of weeks. All right, let's shift the focus and take a look at those of you that are retired. The Hierophant comes through as one of the areas that many of you are looking at. So this could be getting more involved with spiritual or faith-based activities. It can also say, I want to make a difference in the structures of society. So maybe you're giving back and volunteering. Maybe there's something politically that gets you charged up and you're like, I want to change this. This is about somehow getting involved with like-minded people. I totally encourage you to do whatever you want to in that area. It feels like one of the things that you want to focus on is spending less time with people that drive you crazy. Here's the cool thing. If you've gotten to the point where you have the privilege to be retired, you don't need to do this anymore. So whether this is family or old coworkers or people that just feel like they need to judge your choices, it's not worth the time and energy. And that's actually what we see a lot of here is an energy audit. So it may not be money. It could just be like you want to leave situations feeling enriched, like feeling like this really made a difference and it brought you to a better energetic state. And if it's not doing that, especially if there's something where you're putting way too much energy and not getting enough back, say no. 2 cards of spirituality and intuition coming through. So if you want to go a little bit deeper down the spiritual path, we're getting like 2 exclamation points with that. This is a creative card as well. And for some of you, this creative energy could be self-improvement. It could be writing. It could be artistic. And lo and behold, I actually got 2 really unique things that maybe only someone that's retired has time to take up, but like the glassworking or metalworking or craft, hands-on sort of stuff, artisan type work. It feels like anything that you could do with your hands. That even includes like cooking and things like that. So some sort of hands-on activity where you're like, I want to learn more because I have time, because I have resources, because it's fun. Please, if you're retired and have the time and resources, do it. This could actually take you to places you didn't even anticipate. It could get you connected to new people. You might have opportunities to travel. People may pay attention to your skills because you just have a natural knack for it. There's something kind of magical about that. And I never, in the past sort of decade of doing this on YouTube, have had a dream about metalworking or glassworking, not to that capacity where it looked like it was a very artistic and fun and sort of thing. I've dreamed of like Hephaestus and things like that, but this was different. This is like someone that creates objects of art for a living. So there's a really cool artistic vibe that's coming through. Students, let's change the focus. Students, you might have a really hard time deciding like either what your major is or what you want to do post-graduation, or if you want to go to another level of education. You're looking at resources, you're looking a lot at resources. There's also some fatigue here. Take some time if you can. I know we're kind of like halfway through the spring semester. So, I know there's windows of decision making that have to happen. I talked about this. I've talked about it a lot on the channel actually, but I took an extra semester, even if that means that you start in a weird point of the year. Maybe you take a semester off, or maybe you just allow yourself in the summer to do nothing but relax, especially if you're going to go back to school in the fall. You need some recalibration. So take that time and really get your focus, because this card is showing either a lack of focus or some distraction. Let's change the focus now and take a look at relationships and love. As we look at the oracle card for this, we have the second chakra coming through, Archangel Ariel helping out with that. The second chakra is all about how we connect to our sensuality, our self-expression, our ability also to basically take that creativity and put it into the physical realm. And we talked about that in what we were just looking at with wealth. So some of you are awakening to this new creative path that maybe, confounds people around you because they want you to be on a more traditional path, and you're like, I'm an artist, or I'm a rebel, or I have this sort of flair for something unusual that is unexpected. But guess what? If that is authentic to you, that's exactly what you should be doing, and people can take it or leave it. This could also be an awakening because the second chakra is about sexuality. So for some of you, you may, especially if you were thinking like you're out of a relationship and you were done with them, you meet someone and you're like, maybe I'm not done with relationships. I really have this chemistry. I want you to pay attention to being able to express yourself sensually and sexually, how you feel with respect to chemistry with other people. And the main message here is you either feel it or you don't, especially for those that are seeking love. If you're in long-term relationships, it might be about rekindling the spark. Let's take it category by category, and I can help you fine-tune it. We're going to start with existing relationships, and then we'll work our way through. So in existing relationships, things from the past are coming through. We're going to focus on this card first. Some of you may be dealing with self-confidence, or there could also even just be some healing that's going on, some emotional drama and trauma, and it actually could be familial in sort of like origin. So parents and children is usually what this hits. So you may be dealing with some tension with you and your sibling or your parent, or maybe if you have a child, it could also be the two of you are fighting. So this may have nothing to do with the partner. It's something external, and it's a chance for you to heal there or for the partner to heal that. And together, the only thing you have to do is support one another and say, you could just ask a question. How can I be here for you? So either you or your partner has an external stress that's coming through from extended family, and this is a chance to just be there for each other. You don't have to fix the problem. You just have to love them and support them, okay? This can also be self-confidence or, again, just general healing that has to happen within. And as long as you're doing the work and they're doing the work, it's something that can be managed. We have a couple of cards of chemistry. So the Magician in reverse can show a lack of sort of like together time or chemistry. And this card is about reigniting the spark between the two of you. A lot of times this has to do with working too hard or being separated by time and space. And so just getting at the same place at the same time and deciding to make a date night, for instance, can really make the difference here. I think the biggest challenge right now is not being listened to, or finding like that it's a little easier to slip into an argument. Thankfully, this isn't the Ten of Swords. It's more just a very small thing where, you know, you might go back and forth a little bit and get on each other's nerves. This is manageable. The main thing is to slow down long enough to recognize the pattern of it and say, wait, I'm sorry, I was distracted. I want to hear you. Let's start again. Or if you sense your partner's distracted, just say, this isn't the best time. We do need to talk. Is tomorrow better? Like, just let me know when, because we need to deal with this and I need you on board. So rather than fighting, just ask for a better time. That a lot of times will take it and totally neutralize the fight. So you got to find like the common ground, the common interest, and I think that's going to help out quite a bit. Here's the good news. Leading by example. I was just giving you some examples of that, but just reminding your partner that you're both in it to win it, and showing them that you love them, showing up for them, and really hoping that they do the same here. I think that things are going to fall together in the right place. The Hierophant's good. It's saying a promise kept here is what I'm seeing here. So I do feel like the two of you have worked hard to create something. There may be some challenges for growth and balance. I think the biggest thing that you can do for one another is just to check in and say, hey, there seems to be a lot going on. Can I help you with anything? Or, you know, I'd like to talk about this. Is this a good time? Always start with that. That'll help you avoid the Five of Swords altogether. And of course, if there's something you need, ask. You know, in a perfect world, people can just anticipate things, but even when you're intuitive, it's nice to have someone come forth and say, hey, I need some help with this, this, and this. It just takes the pressure off. A lot of times people are tired and they may not be tuning in as much as they normally would. So just assume the best and ask for help when you need it, or ask for clarity when it's missing. You can sort this out. This is a growing month for sure, because when we look at past, deep past, near future, and outcome, it's all about growth and pentacles. So you have to put in the work together. As long as you're doing that, you'll be growing and going in the right direction. For those of you that are looking for love this month, I think that the first and the most important thing to do is to really look at your obligations, because there's a lot going on. And I always keep it real, and I'll tell you what I see. Yes, you can find it. We have a lovely fire sign coming in, or kind of mirroring the energy that you're putting out there, possibly an old soul. But the problem, the challenge at present is that there's just so much going on, and there's some personal healing, some financial sort of attention that you need to focus on, and then just general balance in your life. Get that under control first. Then we do see a really cool energy here between the Knight and the King. There's a little bit of a maturity or an age gap, which is interesting. Nothing that's going to stand in the way. In fact, you may actually be the one that's coming forth and saying, this doesn't bother me, and that's fine. But I think that you have to have your life sorted first, and then things will go in the right direction. It could get serious pretty quickly, actually, and this person may want a little bit more commitment than you might be ready to give at this moment in time. So just really check in and think, am I ready? As I said earlier, you either feel it or you don't. This card, the Oracle one that I pulled, is the most important, but the fact that I got the Chemistry card, or the Magician reversed, is telling me some of you are looking at someone on paper or on an app that feels good, but when you meet them in person, it's sort of like, where did the connection go? We had it in text, but we don't have it IRL in real life. So if you're not getting that face-to-face connection, it's not something that you can fabricate, okay? And you shouldn't have to convince yourself. And if you've been set up on a blind date and you're not getting the vibe either, again, it's better to go in a different direction. So that's what I have to say for that. And fire sign energy is coming through really strong, okay? If you're happily single, here's what I see for you. First of all, there might be an opportunity to travel. It feels like you're doing a lot of internal work and spiritual work, and that comes through really loud and clear. And because you're not focused on a person, there could be a new job. There could be something really inviting and exciting that comes in. Someone's saying, hey, we want you to be a part of something big. And it does feel like there's a lot of people associated with this. This is the buzzing bees that I saw. So as long as it also lights up your energy and you feel excited, you feel passionate about it, go for it. This is not a boring month by any means. In fact, your biggest challenge, some of you, is how to not overextend. So be picky, say no, and do it if and only if it gets you excited and you feel like you're passionate, things are going in the right direction. All right, let's now focus on your destiny card. We have the orphan card, but it is reversed. Some of you are finding what I just talked about, that larger familial connection. And we did highlight this a little bit earlier, so I'm going to bring this card up one more time. And this was the Ten of Pentacles energy. So I said that this month you would have a chance to make new alliances, new friendships, and if you were looking for love, you could find it. I mentioned earlier, if you are looking for love, make sure that you've cleared out your resources and your time and energy a bit, but this is a time to find a chosen family. So some of you may have gotten to the point in life where parents aren't in the picture because they've passed to spirit. Your children may be grown up. There's this empty nest sort of feeling. And this is saying this can be a really fun part because there's not a lot of rules. You can make your own rules at this point, and you can start to connect with the people, the experiences, and the opportunities that really excite you. You can do this at any point. And it's saying you're not an orphan. There are connections out there. Okay? Let's now take a look at sun, rising, and moon sign messages and see what else Spirit has to say. Sun, rising, and moon. All right. Sun sign messages. This is the first real self-care card that we got here. The Ten of Swords. It is reversed. Whenever it's reversed, the focus goes on that new day that is dawning. However, this is the healing that I picked up on in dreams. Some of you may have had someone say no to something that really mattered to you, whether it was a project, whether you reached out and asked someone out on a date, or maybe you just wanted someone to love and accept you for who you were, and they didn't. They said something that was hurtful. Then the main thing here is to move beyond that and realize it's a blessing to know where you stand, and you're going to go in a different path. The hardest thing is just accepting that initial rejection and realizing the globe still spins, the sun still rises, and there's something better waiting for you. This card is also about taking care of your physical being. Some of you may be dealing with a little bit of a health reset. It could be chronic pain or fatigue. Maybe you got over a really dramatic and traumatic health incident, and now it's on the other end. It's on the healing side. So take it one step at a time, one day at a time, and focus on doing what makes you feel better, more sustained, and more supported. This is your time to heal. This is your time to basically get into that space that you need to be. All right? So let's move on to rising sign messages. Really auspicious. Three of Wands. Things are starting to come through faster than expected. So once you start to focus less on trying to be everything for everyone and you shift your attention to what's going on, this also has ships on it. The difference in the two cards is very telling. So the crossing card for the spread was a Two of Pentacles. They're missing the ships in the background. They're focusing on the distraction. Three of Wands, they have their eyes fixed on the ships. So this is a month where you're starting to see that there is more. There are more opportunities than whatever this one rejection was that we just saw in the sun. So I hope Sun is still listening because you have the potential to get here too. One no does not mean everything's going to be a no. It just means that one thing wasn't meant to be. Okay? So this is a chance for you to move into new paths, new directions, new horizons. There could be travel opportunities presenting themselves. And also with this, generally the universe is saying whatever it is that you're trying to do, it's already happening. It may just require opening up your mind. And we said the King of Wands can be a little closed-minded or stubborn sometimes. So if you can just entertain the possibilities, it could happen faster. As we take a look at the moon sign, we have the Six of Swords in reverse. And this is basically the universe coming through saying, there's really no need to go back and repeat the past. This is a card of forward movement, but there could be some sort of a lesson coming through from the past that you need to resolve or deal with. The good news with this is we see change, development, and movement nonetheless, and it's saying that there are no mistakes. You're actually headed in the right direction, but there's a little bit of nostalgia, internal reflection, or release that needs to take place first. This can be a card of grieving or seeing things from a different perspective, so give yourself the time, the space, and the resources to get that perspective. But ultimately, new things are opening up, and we have a lot of energy this month on the distance, the shores, the distant shores and different opportunities that are presenting themselves and coming through. So keep looking at the horizon. It's all about what's developing and moving, not what's happened in the past. That's just one page in your history. Let's go ahead now and take a look at your final question for today. Anything I haven't answered already, go ahead and send that question to the universe, and let's see what Spirit can say about that. We have a lovely celebratory card here. For those of you that were looking for a yes or no question, this is invariably a yes. The more nuanced answer on this one is that there could be new love or opportunity coming through in the way of a friend of a friend. People are important. That was core to that original message that I talked about. This is a time to get out there. If you're looking for someone new in your life, don't rush this. Take your time, have fun. This is the courtship card, and it means that there's something magical in that process of getting to know someone. You'll know pretty quickly if there's a connection. Trust that too. If you haven't taken time to celebrate life's little victories, please do. Have dinner with a friend. Call up an old relative and let them know that you're thinking of them. Really take your time to just what? Be present. I am present, even though they put I am presence. You are present, you're celebrating, and you're working with that energy of gratitude. Gratitude is the attitude. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being a part, for allowing me to be a part of your month and basically looking at all the opportunities that are underway. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. It is free and it helps this channel more than you might imagine. If you like what you see here, I do release new videos every Monday, Thursday, and Friday. Daily card readings as well, and a live stream every Sunday. So if you'd like to join in on that, I'd love to see you. I am also on all major social networks. It's always my full name. So I'd love to have you follow me there. Remember, however, I do not offer private readings. And if anyone tries to message you, you know it's not me. To make sure that you're following all of the right accounts, you can also go to my website. If you'd like to give back, it is optional, but it helps a lot. You can be a member, or you can give a super sticker or super chat, or put a super comment below. All of those help, and I just want to say thanks. From my heart to yours, I hope you have a fantastic month ahead. Thanks for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. I wish you the best, and I'll see you soon.